Hello and welcome to a special tax avoidance edition of the Travel Show with John Guinn on ukhealthradio.com. No, I've not suddenly become a tax expert. I'm not going to give you advice on how to save tax. I'm talking about two destinations which have featured very heavily in the last few days because of some tax avoidance schemes. And whenever there's a tax avoidance in an offshore destination, that these islands are always mentioned. It's the Cayman Islands and the British Virgin Islands. I've been lucky enough to visit both times for free, just rubbing it in there. I was a guest of the tourist board, so the government. If you're a travel agent, you get chances to go and see tour operator destinations, which I never did because my sales figures weren't high enough. But if you did certain training courses, then the tourist board invited you over to have a closer look. That's what I did with both the Cayman and the British Virgin Islands. British Virgin Islands was great because I was actually on hold sorting out somebody's holiday, and I was on hold for such a long time I managed to do a whole training course, and then I had an email saying, do you want to come over? Let me think. Yes, I do want to come over. And unusually for one of these travel agent dues, I was allowed to take my wife with me too. And we both went over, had a great time. It's really pretty. I do recommend you get to see the islands. And I'll be speaking to Ginny Hawksley, who represents the British Virgin Islands in the UK, about that destination later in the show. My first guest is Kate Kandiah, and she represents the Cayman Islands. She is from the Cayman Islands. She's currently living and working over here in the UK, in the tourist office in London. The Cayman Islands are really pretty, completely different to the Virgin Islands. You have to visit both to appreciate how different they are, but the BVI are really different. I went over there, had a tour around, and then I had to take my wife over a few weeks later because she was jealous, and we renewed our vows on 7 Mile Beach, which is the main beach there, and it's not 7 miles, but you'll probably hear it in a few minutes. So I'll pop down to London to record this interview, and Kate's now going to tell us where the Cayman Islands are, because people do get confused where they are. Sometimes they confuse them with the Canary Islands, but now to start off with, best thing to do is find out where they are. Okay, Kate, can you tell me where the Cayman Islands are, please?
I can indeed. We're in the Caribbean. We're south of Cuba and northwest of Jamaica. We're just under 500 miles from Miami, so we're in the northern Caribbean. Great spot.
Great spot.
Great spot.
Yeah, I have been there, but when I said I was going to the Cayman Islands, they got me mistaken with the Canary Islands.
Often happens. Yep. Often happens, yep. I'd like to say we're far more spectacular, but in a very different region and with a very different culture, but a similar name.
Okay, I've been to both. I'm allowed to say you're much more spectacular. That's okay, that's said. So there are 3 islands?
There are indeed. Grand Cayman, Little Cayman and Cayman Brac. Grand Cayman, the largest island, 75 square miles. Mm-hmm. Little Cayman, the smallest. Beautiful, small Robinson Crusoe island. Yeah. Only 150 people living there. And Cayman Brac is the medium-sized island, as we call it, and very different in its layout and nature and landscape. It's much more hilly. It's got cliffs and birds. Very different. So 3 very different islands, their own nature.
I've not been on the Brac, but I've been to Little Cayman, and I remember the airport is basically a shed.
It is indeed. And they have a fantastic little sign outside, it says Terminal 1. It's just a little shack, but it says Terminal 1, and you arrive. We have an airstrip now. It used to, the little propeller planes used to just land on the grass, but there's a little airstrip now. But that just... It really makes the trip. You arrive to a little shack, as you say, and walk straight onto the beach, basically, from the plane.
Definitely straight on the beach. Mm-hmm. How do you get to the Cayman Islands?
We have direct flights from London Heathrow with BA,
okay,
which makes it very easy to get there 4 times a week. There's also very good connectivity through the States. So with Virgin Atlantic and a number of different airlines. Our national carrier is Cayman Airways. Mm-hmm. And they have a lot of connections through the States, so it's pretty easy to get there. We're lucky. It takes about 11 hours, mm-hmm. and it's good connectivity. So.
But the direct flights to the UK is probably the easiest.
It's the easiest. Yeah. Jump on the plane, you get straight mm-hmm. there. It stops via Nassau just for refueling mm-hmm. For an hour, but it's direct. So.
Right. That's good. Why would somebody want to go to the Cayman Islands?
Why would someone want to go to the Cayman Islands? Well, so many reasons, and it really depends on what you are interested in. There's obviously the fly and flop. Yeah. There's the beach holiday. There's the totally getting away from it all. But there's also a lot of diversity in terms of nature, sports. Kite surfing is massive in the Cayman Islands at the moment. Okay. It's really growing. Diving, obviously, it's one of the best dive sites in the world. And it's over 365 dive sites in Cayman. So one for each day of the year, you can say. Wreck diving and cave diving, wall diving. It's really spectacular. The marine life is really spectacular. Restaurants, nearly over 200 restaurants in Cayman. Everything from fish fry on the beach to 5-star haute cuisine. It's spectacular food. So really, it's something for everyone.
I have to agree with the food. I ate at a restaurant called The Wharf, and it was just really nice.
Fantastic. Yeah. Right on the sea. They feed the tarpon.
Yep.
Did you get to see some tarpon feeding?
No, I may have had too much alcohol and had to go. I was falling asleep.
You missed the tarpon feeding. Okay, well, next time you must see the tarpon feeding, because it's beautiful in the moonlight, and all the fish come out and they feed them after dinner. It's quite beautiful.
I did mean to stay, honest. But it was a big day. When would be the best time of year to go?
People obviously always ask this, and technically the peak season is October through June. Climate-wise, it's nice. It's less humid. It's less rainy. However, the summer period, June through September, technically the rainy period is one of my favorite times of year. It's quiet. It's calm. Whilst it's hotter, it's still a lovely time to be there. So if I'm to tell you technically, I would say October through June. However, the summer's great as well. It's all year round.
Okay, all year round.
Which is beautiful. Yeah.
Okay, with the time zone, what time zone is it in?
We're GMT -5, so it changes throughout, but it's either 5 hours behind or 6 hours behind, depending on the season. So
not really a jet lag problem. It's just.
No, it's just the pain of leaving such a beautiful place and arriving back in the cold in England. But
it's definitely cold at the moment.
It is.
What are the history of the islands? When did they first get discovered?
1503, Columbus sailed through. He saw a lot of nature. He called it Las Tortugas because of all the turtles. All he could see was turtles and nature, and not very much else. It wasn't an easy island when he found it. The agriculture wasn't good, the soil wasn't good, so he sort of came and went in a way. But it was definitely known for the turtles and the nature. So it was a spot for mariners to come and rest and refeed and refuel themselves. It then got called Caymanis after the crocodiles, and now it's the Cayman Islands. So it wasn't inhabited when it was discovered. So that's where we're slightly different to a lot of the other Caribbean islands. We don't have a history of Caribs or any of that indigenous culture, which makes the culture incredibly interesting because it's a complete melting pot of different nationalities. You see me, I'm Caymanian. I may not look what you think is a Caymanian, but it is a complete melting pot, from British, Spanish, Jamaican, Caribbean, big mix of cultures.
I have to agree with that. When I've been there, whenever you meet the hotel staff, they're all there from other countries to dive. That's all they're doing, just going there to dive.
Yeah.
Great.
Hey Dave, it's your round, mate.
Yeah, my throat's drier than the Gobi Desert.
All right. Beers all round, yeah? Okay, which one of you jokers has got my wallet? Well, I haven't got it. God, he'll do anything to save a few quid.
Yeah, that's right. He's always had short arms and long pockets.
Seriously, guys, someone's nicked it from my bag.
If you lose your wallet, passport or tickets while you're on holiday, your mates winding you up will be the least of your worries. Keep your valuable stuff locked up safely when you don't need it. And if you're on the beach or by the pool, only take the cash you need.
For more information, go to gov.uk/knowbeforeyougo or follow us on Facebook or Twitter.
You're listening to The Travel Show with John Guinn on ukhealthradio.com. You're listening to a tax avoidance special on The Travel Show with John Guinn this week. We're talking about British Virgin Islands later on, but at the moment I'm speaking to Kate Kandiah about the Cayman Islands, and we're now going to find out about the different characteristics of the three islands. The three different islands, they all have different characters. Could you just run through the characters of them, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So Grand Cayman, the most developed of the three islands. These days, and again, it's in the last 20, 30 years has changed a lot. There is, I would go as far as to say, pretty much anything you could want of an island in terms of shopping, food, activities, nature. Different sides of the island, large enough that you can have the nightlife and the experience, but you can also have the other side of the island, the calm and the very laid-back Caribbean feel as well. So that's I think the beauty of Cayman, is that you have that great difference between the two areas. Little Cayman is just, it's an experience that's very hard to describe until you've been there, and I think you've been there.
I've been there, yep.
You step off the plane and it's like a sigh of relief. Your whole body relaxes just because it is so relaxed and so calm. It's Robinson Crusoe, totally. And you just forget everything. There is not a worry on that island. Everybody is so friendly. It's just a beautiful place to be. Cayman Brac, what we call the medium-sized island, as I said earlier, is very nature-rich. The Cayman Brackers have been very conscious not to let their island be developed too much. So it's very rustic. It's very raw. It doesn't have that cosmopolitan edge that Grand Cayman would have. And that's some of its beauty. That's some of the beauty of it.
Yeah. Okay. I guess most people go to Grand Cayman. What would be the top attractions to do while you're over there?
Okay. Well, being a bit of a nature lover, I would absolutely say the Botanic Park. 65 acres, showcasing 11 different ecosystems of the whole island within what they've done. Really good examples of all of the nature and the plants. We've over 250 different bird species, which all can be seen there. Yeah. We have a helicopter now which does some fantastic rides around the island, and you can see, I don't know if the helicopter was there.
You see the French pilot?
Yes.
Completely mad.
Jerome. He is fantastic.